Many people were upset about how misleading Barr's summary turned out to be. And now we're finding out that Mueller himself was also not impressed.
Bombshell letter, what we now know about how Robert Mueller really felt about the Attorney General's report on the Russia investigation.
In a letter, Mueller told Barr his message to Congress, quote, did not fully capture the context, nature, and substance of Mueller's views on obstruction of justice.
Mueller wrote to Barr, there is now public confusion about critical aspects of the results of our investigation. This threatens to undermine a central purpose for which the department appointed the special counsel, to assure full public confidence in the outcome of the investigations.
Mueller was especially mad that Barr's letter made the public more confused about his report, not less. You know, Barr's letter was basically the Justice Department equivalent of every announcement on the subway. You know, it's just like, ladies and gentlemen, the Mueller report found that the scam was terrible Boston crime. This one family will look at collusion and Donald Trump and all dealings and having fine for today. Next up, the outside fine with transparency. Wait, so did you say there was collusion? Collusion that found with Donald Trump and that's not bad. And where's the train going? I told you, saving else bad. So, it came out. No, you know, I just thought of it. We always assume when we're on the subway, we always assume that it's like a speaker issue. Wouldn't it be funny if the person like, find a straight. And then you're like, hey man, can you come out and speak to me? And they're like, I'm on my way. And then they come in the train, you're like, what are you saying? And they're like, I'm saying my train. So it came out that Robert Mueller was unhappy with how the Attorney General spun the investigation to make Trump look good. And because Barr was scheduled to testify in front of Congress today, the Democrats used Mueller's letter to paper-cut Barr to pieces.
Mr. Barr, now the American people know that you are no different from Rudy Giuliani or Kellyanne Conway or any of the other people who sacrificed their once decent reputation for the grifter and liar who sits in the Oval Office. America deserves better. You should resign.
Wow. Man, you know you messed up if you made a senator from Hawaii mad. Yeah, people from Hawaii don't get mad. They live peacefully with volcanoes. You understand? The earth beneath them is literally exploding, and they're just like, oh, on the hill. But don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Even though the Democrats were coming after Barr, he didn't show up to just be their punching bag. No, when he got his chance, he made it clear that there was nothing wrong with his summary because it wasn't a summary at all.
We were not trying to summarize the 410-page report. I told Bob that I was not interested in putting out summaries. I thought summaries, by very definition, regardless of who prepared them, would be under-inclusive. But as I said, I wasn't interested in putting out summaries. I'm not trying to capture everything. I'm just trying to state the verdict.
No, you just absolutely used the word summarize, though, in your letter.
Summarize the principal conclusions.
Principal conclusions, which most people would view as a summary.
Wow. That was the most exciting, boring fight I've ever seen in my life. It's not a summary, it's a summation of principal conclusions. Like, if you've ever wondered what the opposite of Star Wars is, it's semantic wars. So in summary, Barr said that his summary wasn't a summary. All right? He also went on to say the only reason we're all confused about what the Mueller report means is because Mueller didn't do his job.
Attorney General Bill Barr, defiant, saying he did not understand why Mueller did not make a decision on obstruction.
Was it Special Counsel Mueller's responsibility to make a charging recommendation?
I think the Deputy Attorney General and I thought it was. If he felt that he shouldn't go down the path of making a traditional prosecutive decision, then he shouldn't have investigated. Why were those investigated if at the end of the day you weren't going to reach a decision on them?
I gotta say, even if you don't like Barr, you have to agree that he raises a good point. Like, Mueller was brought in as a super detective, but instead of solving the case, he just laid out the evidence and then walked away. That would be the worst episode of Sherlock Holmes ever. It's pretty clear what happened here, Watson. The blood spatter ends in the hall, the door was open on the inside, and the gunpowder blew in the direction of the bedroom, which means the killer is in this room. Oh no, who is it, Sherlock? Well, that's not my job. Hopefully someone will summarize it for you. All right then, everybody, goodbye. That's what he did. So Barr basically spent the entire hearing being defensive and combative. And his story is that although Mueller's letter berates him for his bad summary, he says that when Robert Mueller called him and they spoke on the phone, they were basically on the same page. But when senators asked for proof of what happened on that phone call, Barr said, I've got your proof right here.
Did anyone, either you or anyone on your staff, memorialize your conversation with Robert Mueller?
Yes.
Who did that?
There were notes taken of the call.
May we have those notes?
No.
Why not?
Why should you have them?
Okay. America. I feel like I've discovered a fundamental flaw in your democracy. You have no defense against someone just being a dick. Seriously, look at Senator Blumenthal's face. Like, he cannot believe what just happened. He's just like, what? Like, he has the face white people pull when they get shut down in public. You know, people are like, I want to see the manager. It's like, get out of here, lady. Ain't no manager at TJ Maxx. Do you know that I'm white? So after a full day of Senate hearings, we are no closer to getting more clarity on the Mueller report. Democrats believe that it proved what they wanted to say. Republicans think that they proved the complete opposite. And because Barr has now refused to show up to testify to the House tomorrow, it looks like a potential Mueller hearing is the Democrats' last hope. And look, I don't know if Barr is a good attorney general. I do know that I wish he was in charge of Facebook, because then the Russians would never get their hands on our data. This guy doesn't give anything out. They'd be like, give us data on all American votes. He'd be like, why should I? Because we ask you. Why don't you ask these nuts? I want to see manager.